Orlando.
Welcome to the OZone.
Welcome to the OZone.
Welcome to the OZone.
Welcome to the OZone.
The voice of Magic fans.
Welcome back to another episode of the OZone podcast, the voice of Magic fans, episode 18. In the studio today, you got Al.
What's up?
Justin.
Yo.
And myself, Anthony. So just the three of us today, and we got a doozy. We got Al, you're about to go on vacation.
I am. I'm leaving tomorrow, so we're recording a little bit earlier today than we normally do.
Justin, you got big plans tonight.
Yes, sir.
Where's it that you're going?
A very nice, a very nice place in by Lake Ivanhoe. It's called Better Than Sex.
Nice. Would you like to elaborate, or would you prefer to move on?
I've never been there, but my girlfriend wants to go. She's really excited about it. I know they're like a dessert place, and they have some really, really, really nice dessert, I guess. So
you'll like it.
We're gonna see. Yeah, I'm excited. Just seeing her excited about it makes me excited. So I'm happy.
I took my wife for, I believe it was her birthday a couple of years ago, and she really enjoyed it. It's it's different. It's different than anywhere that I've ever been before. But if you haven't checked it out and you're above the age of 18,
check it out.
Definitely recommend it. But let's jump straight into in the OZone. So I was thinking the other day, we spent so much time in watching our favorite team play and analyzing the players on the team. I'm curious to hear who is your favorite player to watch right now in the NBA outside of the Orlando Magic. And Al, you are not allowed to say
it won't be
Steph Curry.
No, it won't be. He's not playing. He is coming back tomorrow, though. Maybe.
No, he's not.
No,
I saw that. He's not.
March 1st. March 2nd.
But you know what? After March, it'll be Steph again. But for now, it has been Luka Doncic. Like, I'm actually watching Mavs games. Even when he was here last Friday, I upgraded my seats. I didn't get good seats for that game. Upgraded just because I wanted to watch him play live. And I got to tell you, man, that kid is special. It's unfortunate, we've talked about it before, that he's not in Orlando. We didn't take that risk of climbing up in the draft and picking him because that kid's special. He just turned 21 years old, and he can do it all. He can shoot. He can go to the hoop. He's just one in a generation talent. Like, he really is that good. So, yeah, I mean, that's a guy that is fun to watch. The team is winning. That's my guy right now.
I find it crazy to see how he's able to do everything that he's doing, and it feels like he does it in slow motion.
He does.
He is the slowest. He has to be the slowest basketball player in the NBA. It's like putting Vucevic in like a point guard, like a big point in Luka's body almost. That's exactly what it
I don't know,
reminds me.
man, because there's this guy in Denver. His name is Nikola Jokic.
Who wins that race?
Who might beat him in that race. But no, I think Luka is a good option. For me, I'm kind of stuck between two guys that are just explosive guys. Trae Young obviously could shoot it from anywhere on planet Earth. But Ja Morant to me is like, you can't even watch a Memphis Grizzly game and be bored. He's just so creative with the ball. He has hops for days. He's fast. He has handles. He could do everything. As crazy as this sounds, I feel like Ja Morant is like a modern day Russell Westbrook, if that makes sense. No. Although Russell Westbrook is still in the game.
No, but I see it though.
With a better shot. Yeah. I think Ja Morant is going to be, incredibly special. And I just hope they don't rob him for Rookie of the Year this year.
Surprising is that I find it funny that you say, because for me right now, how can you not say Zion?
Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop. Zion has played 10 games all year.
And that's all you need to see.
Stop it.
To break the tie here, if they make the playoffs, the Pelicans, I will say Zion gets Rookie of the Year.
Okay, so then if Memphis makes the playoffs, Ja gets Rookie of the Year.
That to me would be the factor. That would be the factor to me.
That's not fair. You're telling me.
Like, listen, Ja Morant is fun to watch, but how can you not say, like, Zion?
Ja Morant is leading in assists, in points between rookies. I just can't. Like, I can't take a guy, and this is not a knock on Zion. He's obviously a once-in-a-generation talent, and he has all of the tangible and intangible skills to be one of the greatest of all time, possibly. But under 15 games in the season with 25 games left, That's not enough for me to say he's absolutely deserving of this award more so than John Morant.
That's why I say if they make the playoffs, with the way that he's playing, he's averaging almost 24 points a game. He is making an impact in that playoffs race. So if he only plays, 35 games, but the reason why they make the playoffs is because of him, I think that's when you say, okay, it's going to be closer than we expected. As of today, Morant has the advantage. He should be the rookie of the year. But
I feel like we've just seen so much of John Morant's.
And you're
in the
continually impressed.
NBA. John Morant's in the NBA. Like, so many different names come to mind that he reminds me of. I think a player like Zion, as much as people try to compare him to, let's say, a Charles Barkley type of player, he's the most athletic player for his body style ever in the history of the NBA.
I read somewhere that he was weighing in over 300 pounds.
yeah,
Yeah, right now.
somebody was saying that.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's true or
that's
not.
what I read.
but
I don't know
somebody
if
said
it's true, but if he's playing at that level weighing 300 pounds,
that. He won't last.
I don't think he'll last. I don't think his knees will last, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't think his knees will last if he's weighing 300 pounds playing at a professional level. But at the same time, it's impressive as hell that he could play at that level and be as fast and explosive as he is weighing 300 plus pounds.
And he's the guy to really come outside of LeBron James as kind of like the phenom. Where there's there's been so much hype way before he even touched like college basketball.
But do you think there's overhype? Like during All-Star Weekend on Saturday night, dude, they made a highlight reel. He made the top 10 for a missed dunk. That to me is overhype.
You're not wrong. It is overhype, but you're talking about overhype for a player that plays for New Orleans, the Pelicans.
No,
Yeah.
overhype
Yes.
for any player.
No.
Any player to be on a top 10
I mean,
of anything
imagine-
with a missed dunk is overhype.
Imagine him playing for the Knicks. That would have been like he would have been living in ESPN.
It would have been over. He has the persona on and off the court. He played for Duke, and we've been watching his dunks since high school.
Yeah, that's
Now,
true.
now I'll be the first to say that when I was watching these highlights from him in high school, he was dunking over like these 5'2", 5'3",
Yep.
small freshman ass players. Like, it wasn't anything like
Impressive.
It was impressive because he was able to do it. And I mean, but we've been watching this since he was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I get
By
it.
the time that he signed with Duke, it was kind of like, yo, he's a senior already. And the fact that because I thought when he got to Duke that it's not going to translate, and then it translated, right? And then he did it in Duke. He's not going to be able to do it in the NBA, and then he's doing it in the NBA.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy.
I get what you're saying about John Morant, but if Zion is on the TV, how can you not like watch?
So
him?
what does that
'Cause
mean? He's also guaranteed MVP?
Who's saying MVP?
No, I'm asking.
I'm saying rookie of the year.
If you're just talking about his impressiveness and you're mentioning Zion in the same sentence as LeBron as being a phenom, right? So what's the different, like what's the distincting factor? I just don't get it. To me, any award, like even the whole like People's Champ Aaron Gordon thing, any award, if you didn't win it and you don't possess it, you don't have it. I don't believe in this like theoretical, oh, I'm the champ, although you lost. That's really what it comes down to.
Zion's first game in the NBA, he was 100% from the 3-point line, and he shot 4.
4 of them. Yep.
Like, what more can you expect?
I'm not saying, and I'm not saying it's not impressive.
I have a question. Then we're gonna start talking about Magic basketball. If Zion wasn't injured in the beginning of the season, and he's been playing the same way that he's playing right now,
right?
Would you still pick Ja over Zion if you had a larger sample size?
If I had a larger sample size, it would be even between both players, and then you could judge. It could be even.
No,
I'm talking about in the amount of games like played. You can't say Ja has almost 50 games, right? Almost 50 games of experience that he's played, and Zion's had 11, 12 games. Like, it's not the same. It's you can't earn an award without putting in the same amount of work as somebody else. That's what I have an issue with. If Zion had a 35, 40 game kind of spread where it was like, okay, we've seen this long enough, yes, you deserve this. But come on, Ja has played, I think he's missed like 2 games this year. I think maybe 2
Less
games.
than 5 for sure.
And he's doing it. And he's not just doing it for himself. He's making everybody around him better.
Yeah.
Memphis was a team that during the offseason, nobody even thought they'd be in a conversation for the playoffs. right? They were a team. Everyone is young. There's no way they're gonna make it. This, that, and the third. Ja changed that entire, what is it called? Kind of
Culture.
Yeah, that entire culture.
Yeah, for sure.
Zion is doing a similar thing, but he has more talented pieces around him. Brandon Ingram became an all-star on his own. You know
True.
what I mean? Lonzo Ball, although he's not a scoring threat, is one of the best passers in the NBA. Like, Zion's not doing this alone.
So you're putting it in the context of, all right, yes, John Morant is nice. You weren't thinking about Memphis, and now he's bringing them to the Western Conference playoff series, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Memphis are an 8th seed,
Right.
right? 8th. The Pelicans are in 9th.
Correct.
So if the Pelicans beat out Memphis for the 8th seed, are you now giving it to Zion?
I think, yeah. I'm not saying I'm
That's
going
all we
to give
need.
it to
Let's move
Zion,
forward.
but what I'll say is, if New Orleans makes the playoffs over Memphis, then there's an argument to be made that Zion should be.
To
in
me, that
discussion
would
for
be
award.
the determining factor to me.
But I think ultimately, Ja has done it for longer and deserves it.
And not only that, but imagine the Lakers and Pelicans in the first round. That would be must-watch TV every game.
It would be fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's jump into Magic basketball. Really good discussion. So right now the Magic are currently 27-32, holding down the 7th seed in the East. Offensively, points per game, we've been at 105.1, which has us at 28th, not in last place. 3-point percentage, 33.6, which has us at 27th. Offensive rating, 106.4, which has us at 26th. Defensively, points allowed, 106.2, has us second in the league. Blocks, 5.9, 5th, and defensive rating, 108, which has us at 8th. So this past week, the weekend review, we had a game against Brooklyn, 115-113 win. Game against Atlanta, 130-120 win. Game versus Minnesota, 136-125 win. The Magic have won 5 out of our last 6 games.
That's exciting.
We've been rolling. And it's starting to feel as if it's kind of the post All-Star team of last year.
Last
is it
year.
not?
But you know what's funny? So last year what triggered everything was MCW, right? And this year what triggered everything is
James Ennis.
So it's this little minor moves that we're like, that's all we did. And yet the impact that they've had now 2 years in a row are drastic.
But it's funny that you say that, because if you think about some of the things that the Magic struggle with is energy, right? Mm-hmm. And both of those guys are energy guys. When Ennis is on the court, definitely he's going to play hard. He's going to run the floor, and he's going to look for open opportunities in transition. And MCW the same way, with the added benefit of elite level on-ball defense. So I think it's pretty funny just to notice that that kind of similarity between the two. Orlando is one of those teams that has decent talent, but they don't move the ball enough. They don't run enough. So when you get guys in there that want to run, it's going to change things.
Yeah, I'm just excited about that win against the Nets on Monday. That kind of started everything the whole week. That was a really fun game. I'm not sure about you guys. I know we're texting in the group chat, but that fourth quarter, man, having Terrence Ross just go off and one-on-one. He was going basically by himself against Dinwiddie, Harris, against the Nets. It was a 3-point shootout. They hit it. We hit a 3. They hit a 3. Yeah. That was a really fun fourth quarter. At one point, I just put my phone down. I'm like, I just want to watch this game. Yeah. And let's see what happens. And then, of course, AG showed up, and that was a huge win. Not only beating the Nets and getting closer to the 7th seed at that point, but also our second win against them this season, which one more, we win the tiebreaker. Mm-hmm. But also the Wizards lost that night. So then that we gain a game there as well. So huge win for us in every aspect.
And then the game last night, Aaron Gordon had his very first triple-double. 17 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists. Yeah. It kind of seems like he hit another level after the All-Star break. He had the really tough game immediately after, which I believe it was against the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. And then from there, he's just been rolling.
Yeah, AG is, everybody knows I criticize AG a lot, and I talk. Some people think it's bad talk about AG, but he's been playing really well. I think the biggest change that I've noticed is him playing within his skill set, and adapting, understanding what defenses are presented to him, realizing where his teammates are on the court, always having his eyes up, realizing that You don't have to over dribble and take a contested shot. You could pass out, and other people have better options. And I've seen a little bit of transition game with AG and Evan Fournier that I've liked the last few games as well. And I don't know, I also feel like Markel just brings something out of AG that we haven't seen before. So it's interesting to see.
I think it's so funny how we're talking about AG and Justin finds a way to throw in Evan Fournier.
I caught that too.
but you know what it is about Aaron Gordon also is he looks like he is just way more active and way more conscious on the defensive end. Where we're starting to see almost one highlight block a game.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah,
and they're not easy blocks. Like he's stopping people from dunking. Like
jumping from behind them, coming around the front and getting the block is pretty amazing.
And that one against the Nets was insane against Caris LeVert. Yeah, that was a game-winning block.
So you can kind of see that he's putting a focus all around for his game. Dante, he's even given him the nickname Swiss Army Knife. It doesn't sound catchy, but it makes sense. It's everything that we've been preaching about all season long. We're saying that in order for Aaron Gordon to be an all-star, he has to be more of a Draymond Green type of player.
Yeah.
And it feels like he's finally doing that. And I think that if he can do that consistently, man, we're gonna be a problem. Like,
this is the AG that we wanted to see from day one, October. I know he has some injuries, and that's kind of coming back. Some people are saying, hey, was he really healthy all year? Maybe that was what slowed him down. I think it's more mental than anything else. But if he is healthy right now, and this is the AG we're going to get for the next years ahead in Orlando, hopefully, I mean, that changes our whole dynamic. Now, people are wondering, Isaac is out right now. Amino's out. Kiki's next year. What the heck's going to happen with the power forward position? And it's more forward. I don't care. Right now, I don't care about that. I'm just enjoying the moment.
That's a good problem to have.
It is.
Yeah. One of the things I saw was after last night's game against
Minnesota.
The Wolves. Yeah. AG was doing his, post-game conversation or whatever, and he made it a point to say, like, that he wanted to play, like, he wanted this level to come out of him while in Orlando. Like, he wanted this to be something that he did in Orlando. So I think it's cool to see because it still shows his commitment to the team. Although, a lot of fans have gotten frustrated and criticized him for different things. Just to see that he is playing at that level and he is still happy being here. Is something good to see. But another point I wanted to bring up was I think the not just AG's mindset, but the entire team has kind of changed a little bit. It feels like the team doesn't necessarily settle for threes anymore. They're okay with driving in the paint and taking, layups and things like that. And that's good to see because obviously a made layup is better than a missed three-pointer any day.
But you know what? Again, going back to the Ennis acquisition, it allows for that to happen. So now you have to guard him at the three-point line. Whereas if one dude or whoever was playing the 3 or the 4 before, you could just sag off and close the paint. So I think that also makes it possible for Ross and Fournier to go to the basket. Gordon as well. Like that's creating that driving line for them. But yeah, it's been fun to watch.
I feel like in the beginning of the season, we were just watching Jonathan Isaac just do all the blocking for the team, and that was it. It's starting to feel now as if it's really a team effort around defending the basket. We've even seen elite rim protecting from Mo Bamba. So for the month of February, Mo Bamba is averaging 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks while shooting 55% from the field goal and 47% from the three-point line, all while averaging under 12.8 minutes a game. How do you guys feel about the what feels like a resurgence from Mo Bamba?
It's been fun to watch. And Mo, I think every month that has passed this season, he's looking better and better out there. If we compare the Mo from now to the Mo from October and November, 2 different guys. He couldn't grab a rebound. He couldn't really grab a pass and finish around the hoop. Even three-point shots seemed like he was thinking too much. I feel like Mo Bamba is finally getting it. I know he's really young. He's still kind of learning the NBA game. His body's getting filled still to what he needs to be in the NBA. But he's looking like a player that's finally getting it. The game's slowing down a little bit for him. And his shot blocking has been out of this world this week. I know we were talking about that, him being an elite rim protector. He leads the league in minutes per game, blocks per minute when he plays. So, I mean, that tells you when he's out there, you got to make sure that you got to finish over him, which won't be easy.
So in under 12.8 minutes a game, his last 3 games, he had 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks against the Hawks. 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 blocks against the Nets, which is ridiculous. And 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 block against the Timberwolves.
Yeah, so initially
Elite.
there was a conversation. Yeah, there was a conversation on Twitter where I don't remember who it was specifically, but somebody brought up, Mo Bamba being an elite rim protector, and I said something along the lines of, "Is Mo Bamba really an elite rim protector?" And I took a lot of flack on social media for that. Elise wrote an article for the Zone BB talking about Mo Bamba and his rim protection and kind of where he's sitting at in development. And one of the things I realized was, and I still hold true to it even now, for me to be elite at something, you have to sustain it. Mm-hmm. It's not a flash, right? Because a flash, okay, you can be greatness in flashes and that's fine. But to be an elite anything, you have to achieve it and you have to remain there for some time. So that was the only argument I was trying to make. And I think Mo has the potential to be elite. I definitely believe that. I don't think he's elite at this point. I think he's had moments of greatness. And I'm just excited to see him continue to develop.
But you can argue that he's an elite rim protector right now. In the last 3 games, he had a total of 10 blocks. Mm-hmm. That's intense defense. That's something that we've been asking from, at the very least. We're not expecting Mo Bamba to go out there and score 15, 20 points for us. Mm-hmm. We're not telling him to go out there and get 12, 13, 15 rebounds. We're just asking him for be active and leave his presence on the floor. And we've always known he led the NBA draft combine before Taco Fall in wingspan. We talk about wingspan this, wingspan that, and we really didn't see it from Mo Bamba. So the fact that he's now putting his wingspan to work, I'll take that all day. Call him elite, but don't say anything negative about Mo Bamba to hinder what he's able to do on.
But this is my thing, right? There was previously in the season there was stretches where Mo Bamba was also lauded, right? Everybody said, "Oh, he's playing so well." Wasn't there a game he had like 5 3-pointers and everybody was losing their mind because Mo Bamba was going off? And then what happened? Then he went on a stretch where he didn't play that well, and then everybody was like, "Oh, Mo Bamba this, Mo Bamba that." All I'm saying is there's ebbs and flows throughout the season. Players have stretches where they play very badly and then they play well. And while they're at their best in the season, you can't just throw words like elite out there. That's reserved, at least in my opinion. Elite is reserved for the best of the best. And unfortunately, at this point in time, I don't agree that Mo Bamba is at that level. I think he, has had great stretches. And these last 3 games have been fantastic. But to call him elite is a little early in my opinion.
You do make a point for the simple fact that I would consider Jonathan Isaac an elite rim protector. And I don't feel Mo Bamba's at that point with him. But we are seeing it. And I think that he deserves at least somewhat of credit for his contributions on the defensive floor without having a player like Jonathan Isaac there.
No, I mean, and I will tell you, just in college in Texas, so he averaged just last year 3.7 blocks per game. His last year in college. Year 1, he barely played with us. We know that. He missed most of the season. Mm-hmm. Year 2, he's finally getting some minutes. Still, 12 minutes a game this month, and he's killing
That's what makes it impressive.
So, for me to call him elite, why I would call him elite, he showed it in college. Mm-hmm. And he's short games in the NBA. In limited action, he's showing it. So, I can argue against it. I feel like, again, I don't want to play the game of elite, not elite. But I will say this, Mo Bamba is making his presence felt, which we were not seeing that. He was getting pushed around. People going for layups, and he was just falling in the past. He's standing his ground now. His muscles are showing. He's being built to be a rim protector, which that's what the NBA now needs. A guy that can just stand there, run the floor, block shots, and what's impressive, hit the 3, which he can do as well. So I think he will be the new age of NBA centers. Guys that can run fast, block shots, rebound. But even the rebounding is impressive. He's grabbing 10 rebounds, 8 rebounds a game. Look back in October, November. He would average 2, 3 rebounds a game.
Yeah, definitely something has changed.
Oh, yeah.
There's definitely a change in Mo Bamba, and I'm happy for that change, and I hope that change continues and that he continues to evolve as a basketball player. That's what we all want, especially since he is here in Orlando. I just can't call him elite right now.
He seems like he's become way more patient, as if the game has really slowed down for him. Because for anyone that really plays basketball, you know that defensively, doing a block isn't something that you just go out there and just do accidentally. Everything is timing. Everything is being aware and being active. And you can really see that he's the 14, 15 minutes that he's playing, he's making the most of it to the point that when was the last time we talked about Ken Burch?
Yep.
Does anybody miss
That's a
Ken
really
Burch?
good point.
No, not anymore.
Nobody. Not from our conversations that we have, not from Magic Twitter, not from anyone on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. Nobody said anything about Ken Burch. And it's because we're now starting to get what we expected from Mo Bamba.
So the question is, does Mo Bamba start stealing minutes away from Vooch?
He should. Even last night, he was in foul trouble a little bit. But even last night, he had stretches where the bench was playing better than the starters. And yeah, you will see Vooch coming back in the game. Like, I get why the minutes. He's the star of the team right now. But there are moments that I'm like, the bench is playing so well. Like against, when's his game? Against the Hawks. Let him play the whole second quarter. Like, he was playing that well. Reward him for his play.
But you are paying Vooch $100 million.
But it don't matter. Like, it's game 1 out of 82. Like, if he's shining out there, let him enjoy that moment. And that's what I feel, again, back to what we talked about Clifford in the past. There are games when Ross last night, he played the whole fourth quarter. Why? He was lighting it up. So I feel like Bamba needs to be rewarded. I don't know if you guys have heard anything. Is there a minutes restriction on Mo Bamba? Because
not that I've read or heard. I just feel it's difficult to give him minutes, especially because we can say all we want with Vooch. It feels like when I watch Vooch, it feels like he's having a bad game, like all the time.
all the time.
But at the end of the game, he's still leading the team in points, right? So it's kind of like you see Aaron Gordon. The other day, I want to say it was yesterday. I mean, he played almost 40 minutes in the game.
41.
So he's playing so much that it's hard to fill in, because even if let's say that you didn't want to fill Mo to back up Vooch, it's hard to put him in the power forward position too, because AG is playing his ass off.
Yeah.
But what I like to see is the fact that our players they're all playing well consistently. And I hope that's something that can be sustained. You're seeing the real Terrence Ross. You know, he's not even Terrence Ross. He's just Human Torch. Like, that's just who's playing right now. And Aaron Gordon's playing well. Everyone's playing so good. I would like to see some improvements around the Markelle Fultz field, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you know, we're hitting all cylinders, and this team is finally exciting to watch.
I mean, there's no reason why we cannot sustain it. So in the month of March, which starts tomorrow, we have 15 games. We play 12 out of 15 games against teams below 500. So it's a month that if we play well, we can make up a lot of ground in the Eastern Conference and probably even put some distance between the nets.
So you know, I was actually looking at the standings. It looks like we're 8 games behind the 6th seed, and that's the Pacers. I'm not saying we definitely will make 6th seed. That's not what I'm saying. But with the amount of games left, and the difficulty of the schedule, I think things can work in that favor if everything goes right.
Anything can happen.
Right. And that would be probably a
Philly
matchup.
too. Watch out for Philly. You got Embiid out. You got Simmons out.
Yeah.
Miami's struggling right now. You got Indiana not playing so well.
Did Victor Oladipo come back?
Yeah, he did.
He's just not playing that well.
And he's had 2 more injuries.
It's a Sabonis show right now.
Yeah,
that's true. But it's only the Sabonis show because Oladipo's not 100%.
And Jeremy Lamb also is out for the season now. So you got a lot of things kind of going the Magic way. If we can sustain it out, can we sustain it? That's the issue.
But realistically, anywhere in the top 3 in the East, do you really like Orlando's chances against Toronto, Boston, or Milwaukee?
But I would rather go to a game in the playoffs knowing I'm facing Toronto, even the Celtics. I know they're going to spank us, but at the end of the day, you're not going to lose by 40 every game. Milwaukee, for 2 years in a row now, we cannot even touch them. And nobody can in the NBA right now.
They're the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see Milwaukee first.
Exactly.
No,
so
the Lakers do not want to see Milwaukee in the NBA Finals.
I'd rather play just, even if we lose in 5 games the series in round 1, but at least we lose by 8-7 points, competitive basketball. Not, something we're losing by 30 and 40 points.
Not a blowout.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me personally, I want to see Toronto in the first round. Just
right.
because we have that we just have that history with them last season.
I wouldn't
mind. This time they don't have Kawhi. Obviously, we don't have Jonathan Isaac, but
I don't know, man. Kyle Lowry's been playing out of his mind. Like the East, there's a lot. There's so much talk about the East being bad, and the top of the East is legitimately competitive. Oh, yeah. So. I don't know. I would say those top 3
what I like the NBA
dangerous.
about this year is that every team has a chance. If you think about it, like they're 1 injury away from being bad. So you think about the Raptors. If Siakam is out one round of the playoffs. That team is not that great.
If
all of a sudden.
Giannis gets hurt,
If Giannis gets
LeBron
hurt,
gets hurt,
exactly.
if AD
So
gets hurt,
and that's what the Warriors, the last few years were controlling. They ran the NBA. It's like, okay, even if KD's out, you got 3 guys that can play. That doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
You got
So
PG.
who would you say would be that player for the Magic? Who's that one player
Vooch.
if they were to get hurt? You think it would be Vooch?
Just a scoring aspect of it.
yeah, because even like you just said, even when it looks like Vooch isn't having a good game, he still finishes with 28 points. So it's like it could be quiet 28, but when you're looking at the box score, those 28 points are still there.
Just a scoring threat.
Am I foolish for thinking that player's Aaron Gordon?
No.
Just because with it, so Nikola Vucevic, right? If he goes out, plug in Mo Bamba, Cam Bird should follow up with him. Aaron Gordon gets hurt. Who are you replacing?
But remember, Aaron Gordon was non-existent up until post All-Star break.
He wasn't, but he's still a 6'8", 6'9"
Yeah, he can play
body
defense.
that can at least give effort on the floor and do something.
And you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, he's bringing up Evan Fournier again." But the guy to me that the Magic would miss, scoring wise, would be Evan Fournier. I think.
You're bringing up Evan Fournier again.
No.
Well,
in a playoff series,
In that case, I'll take it one step further. Terrence Ross.
yeah.
If he has
Those
a bad
are-
knee injury, God forbid. Where's the scoring coming from? Off the bench?
Realistically, Fournier and Terrence Ross are our scorers, right?
Yeah.
Those are our shooters. So if those guys were gone, it's gonna be a lot more difficult. If Evan wasn't there and T. Ross wasn't there, I'll say you'll miss the Euro Bros.
So I think to make it fair, if any of those 4 guys you mentioned, Vooch, Gordon, Ross, and Fournier, one of those guys goes out, unfortunately, with a bad ankle, knee, it changes our whole season around. Like, really impacts our scoring.
So let's jump into the juice. Some of you mentioned some stuff about the Pacers, and the Pacers and the Magic were kind of linked together. So just recently, Ian Begley of SNY TV reported Pacers were among the teams that had a degree of interest in acquiring for the Orlando Magic forward Aaron Gordon. So Al, you had mentioned earlier before we started the podcast that Pacers have shown interest in Aaron Gordon for a little while now, about 1 or 2 years. But just thinking, obviously a trade didn't happen, so it's either they were asking for too much, or there just wasn't anything that we really were interested in Indiana. Is there any players outside of Victor Oladipo, because I doubt he was anywhere near available, that you would want that would make sense for a deal for Aaron Gordon?
So this is really funny to me because we shouldn't even be in this conversation, right? Because let's just say, so Domantas Sabonis is an all-star now. If we wouldn't have traded Victor Oladipo and the draft pick that ended up being Domantas Sabonis, we would have had Sabonis, Depot, and Aaron Gordon.
Insane.
This conversation would have never happened.
But the fear is always, can Aaron Gordon coexist with Jonathan Isaac? Is a player like Domantas Sabonis a player that would be better alongside?
I don't think
Isaac
so.
More so than Aaron Gordon.
I don't think so because
No.
I think Domantas Sabonis has to play that 4-5 spot.
Yeah.
And just going back to that whole AG-JI conversation, in order for AG and JI to be able to coexist, Jonathan Isaac has to develop a consistent shot.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If he can shoot and he can play the small forward role, then they'll coexist.
Yeah.
But if his shooting is still a problem, that's going to clog up the lanes for AG, and it's going to make things difficult.
I think the guy that they're going after, if they talk to Indiana again later on, is Brogdon. That's a guy that the Magic front office drafted in Milwaukee. So, in my opinion, I think it's a guy that they like.
But that was before us seeing what Markel's done, right? Because Brogdon,
Correct.
he could play shooting guard, but is he? I don't know. I think he's better on the ball than off the ball. In my opinion.
True. Now, but that's the only guy. That's the only guy in Indiana that I'm thinking about that has some sort of history with our Magic front office, and that may be a guy they want to have in Orlando. But again, other than that, doesn't make any sense to me. And again, if AG plays at this level, I don't see the Magic is trading him. Like I know we had some talks because he wasn't playing well. It's like, hey, is this the AG we're gonna have for the next years ahead? But the way that he's showing right now, I think the Magic hold on to him.
And now Kelly Oubre is injured too, so that
Oubre's
makes
injured.
it a little more interesting in the offseason.
What is crazy? So while you guys were talking, I plugged in just a random trade, in the trade machine, and a trade that would work is Malcolm Brogdon, who is salary 4 years, $20 million. Domantas Sabonis, who is still under his rookie contract, or not rookie contract, 5 years, $3 million. So this guy is not getting paid anything. A trade that would work is Malcolm Brogdon, Domantas Sabonis for Aaron Gordon and Aminu.
Nah. I think everybody's forgetting what Aminu is capable of, and I said this, earlier in the year.
That puts per trade machine puts the Magic at a +7.
Wow.
I think when Aminu returns to this roster, and now that the ball is moving and the pace is up, I think Aminu's gonna kind of show through, and his offensive skill set is gonna show through as well. He didn't play too long. It was his first year in the system, and I still believe that Aminu is one of those guys that you want on your roster.
Man, when I heard Domantas Sabonis made the All-Star game, I was like, what? Really? Like, there's nobody else in the East? And if this Aaron Gordon played the way that he's playing now throughout the whole entire season, this could have been his year.
Yeah.
Granted,
definitely
very small sample size, but, man, I don't know.
If he can keep it up, he's an all-star. He just has to maintain it. That's the tough thing. Can he maintain it?
So in other news, you guys are going to laugh at this one. So on the jump, Scottie Pippen, who is a contributor to the show, they asked him about the slam dunk contest. And on the show, Pippen admits that the dunk contest judges had agreed to tie the score. And somebody, Dwayne Wade, did not stick to what they're calling a pact. So they all agreed that, hey, we are going to make it a tie so that they have to slam dunk again, right? They would have to attempt again. And everyone punched their numbers. And the minute that everyone punched their numbers, and Scottie Pippen tried to kind of save face a little bit because he says that in the midst of them trying to input numbers, they accepted the score and locked them out, and they weren't able to change anything.
Yeah.
But I think it goes to show you just how ridiculous a slam dunk contest is. Because as a judge, shouldn't it just be what you yourself personally think?
Exactly. And that's what it's always been, by the way. This is the first year I noticed that, where they kept just, even when they would like dunk and put the judges on camera, they were like talking to each other. They were like coordinating the scores. I'm like, what's going on right now? And what I'm used to, again, I grew up watching Vince Carter, these great dunkers. You saw a dunk, you grabbed a card. Keep it simple. Grab no technology, grab a card. 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. Lift it up in 2 seconds. Like, no looking around. Like, it's, to me, it makes me mad. As you're saying this right now, again, it pisses me off again to that night we're watching it together and the shock factor. And that's why, because he got cheated. And the thing is, the NBA won't come and say nothing about it. Wade won't admit it. And yet Jones got a new Puma deal, and he's celebrating out there saying, I'm the best dunker in the NBA. Come take the title from me. Come on, man. Like,
but for me, it's over. You lost.
Oh, it is.
Move on.
It is.
It shouldn't. In my opinion, you could talk about it. Obviously, it happened, but to even still feel resentment or be upset about it is ridiculous. Because first of all, it's a dunk contest. In the grand scheme of things, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything for your career.
But the thing is that there's guys like AG that, again, are known to be dunkers, right? Imagine Vince Carter getting robbed in 2000. Would his legacy be the same? Had he lost to Steve Francis because he was a short guy jumping high. So Vince lost because his free throw line dunk was one step in, not, that wasn't the winner.
So you think Vince Carter's entire legacy was based upon...
No. But when you watch...
But when we're talking about iconic moments...
It's iconic.
Right, but the dunk was iconic. It doesn't matter. Yes. You're telling me that...
I'm not saying that the dunk by itself...
You remember the score of the dunk contest?
No, not the score, but you remember that. You remember that he won it. You're talking about literally one of the best slam dunk participants in the competition
in history
that participated 3 times and didn't win once.
See, but this is the thing. The fact that he didn't win doesn't take away from those dunks. When you think about a great slam dunk contest dunks, you're still going to think about stuff rotating on the little hoverboard and AJ catching that and doing the Liberty dunk.
This is the thing, though, like, what's new? Why are we talking about it today? Because another judge, now 3 judges have admitted that it was supposed to be a tie. Somebody cheated. They won't say who it is. We know it's Dwayne Wade. So that's what we're talking about. It's because judges, legit guys that were there judging, are saying, yeah, he got robbed, whatever. So that's what we're talking about. I moved on. We moved on. We're not talking about it anymore. But he just said it last night. And he just kind of reiterated the fact that Dwayne Wade cheated. He won't face it. He won't admit it. He's still saying to this day, I wasn't the only one that gave a 9. That's garbage.
Like, I mean, I get it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's
I
past,
agree.
But I get it.
But again, from the get-go, we all said, why is Wade a judge when it's a Miami Heat player? We all said it from the jump. We're watching it together. And then at the end, just admit it. Hey, listen, guys, I gave him a 9 because I wanted it to be over. Like, I felt like that was enough dunks. Johnson was the better dunker. That's it. You say that, I'm happy. But don't come here telling me Gordon was the best dunker. I give him a 9 because Jones should have won. It's I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I think that even though he didn't win it, he still won it. Like he still during his slam dunk attempts, they were playing Pull Up, his song, throughout the whole entire arena on national television. He dropped the song. What was it? The same day, the same weekend.
Yeah, the same weekend.
Afterwards, he was partying in the club to his song. You know what I mean?
And not only that, but even Terrence Ross to this day, because sometimes on ESPN gets talked about, and their slam dunk contest champion Terrence Ross did a sick dunk last night. Like even that, like adding that to your resume.
But don't you think that that's because there's no championships there? To me, maybe I'm old school.
Why can't we have that? Why can't we have that moment of happiness?
You can. No. I'm not
saying.
Imagine
this. Imagine this. Imagine if it was Evan Fournier in the finals of the 3-point shooting contest.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, this random guy just beats him.
Yep. The guy from Miami, Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson beats Fournier.
Okay.
And what they're saying is that his shot was released a second late, so it didn't count. But yeah, the video shows it should have counted.
But that's entirely different, Al. It's different because it's the 3-point contest is not based on somebody's perception of what you did.
That's true.
It's based on a clock and it's based on the shots that you're taking.
Well, let's assume that there was a human factor to it. Like the ref that was there said it didn't count. They can't review it, so he lost.
And then you complain about it in the moment. But I mean, it's been almost 2 weeks.
No, but Pippen just talked about it last night. Another judge came out yesterday, and said, "Hey, yeah, he got cheated." Like again, we all forgot about it.
Ultimately, AG had marvelous dunks, eye-opening dunks. And should he have won the dunk contest? Yes. Did he win? No. You're not going to do it again? Okay.
All I know is this.
Move on.
If I was an NBA player if my talent was to jump high, I can dunk. I'm known to be a powerful player, powerful dunker. And, since I was little, I grew up watching Vince Carter, Jason Richardson. And my goal was to one day beat one of those guys and have that dunk contest trophy. It would suck, man, to do it 3 years in a row or whatever it was, 3 years out of the last 5. No, I could have won 2. I didn't. You grow up with these ambitions. Like, I want to be a champion, obviously. I want to make an all-star game. True. But I grew up wanting to be a slam dunk champion. And to get that taken away from you because, again, some sort of crazy stuff happened there with the judges, and then they're admitted to it, it just sucks. I understand it's over with. We cannot live on this. But, again, it's just still painful that happened.
All right, so extremely random because I said and then I started laughing to myself.
Yeah.
So Duncan Robinson from Miami. Do you think that his parents were Spurs fans?
That's funny. That is funny.
Hey, that's true.
That is hilarious.
That's
David
crazy.
Robinson and Tim Duncan.
That's true.
Can you imagine being named Manu Parker? Crazy. All right, so we're gonna move on to get it off your chest. We're obviously talking about Aaron Gordon, and I had posted it on my Instagram, Orlando Magic HQ. Posted on other forums as well. And a lot of people, they are on the Aaron Gordon hype train. So this first one comes from Josh Gomez Music on Instagram, Orlando Magic HQ, where he says, AG is playing like he's pissed off, and I love it. LOL. It's the kind of energy and passion that we've been missing. Do you honestly think that he's pissed off about missing the slam dunk contest and not winning, and he's really incorporating into his game? Or is it that he's just now understanding what he needs to contribute successfully?
I think it's a combination of both. I think AG was initially upset at the slight at the dunk contest, but I think he's also realizing that for him to be taken seriously as a basketball player and not just looked at as a dunker, he has to take his game to the other level. He has all of the physical attributes to be successful, right? He has like this star appeal about him as well. Like you kind of want to hear AG talk. You kind of want to be around AG. He kind of has that gravity to him, but his game wasn't there. And I think he's recognizing that in order for him to be great, he has to be selfless. He has to get others involved, and he has to know his own limitations. And because of that, I think he's making those adjustments to make sure that next year, when February comes around, like you said, you're not talking about AG the dunker. You're talking about AG the basketball player.
Yeah. I think he played maybe a small factor, losing the contest and getting upset and playing mad. I think maybe a slight factor into what's going on. But he did say early February that he sat down with Coach Clifford. And ever since then, I feel like he has changed his game style. And I don't know if it was an honest conversation. And I've seen, like I said earlier before we started recording, watching the game live last night, his random, between the leg, between his back moves that he used to do, that would normally lead to a step back 3-pointer or a step back or a forced drive to the basket, are now leading to an open pass, a pass to an open teammate, leading to an alley-oop. So I think the game just slowed down for him. I think he simply is seeing the game better. He's not forcing things. If he's open, he's shooting it. If he's not, he's going to the basket. And I think that's the better AG.
Passing it up.
Or passing it up. And I think that's the best AG. The one that's out there to play the Draymond Green role. Now he's scoring more than Draymond. But I think, again, he's a better shooter than Draymond also. So I think that's as simple as it gets. He's allowing the game to come to him.
So to add, Erwin M. Fletcher from Reddit, he said, AG is coming into his own and is learning how to apply his game to get the most out of it. This is not just hot shooting. He is making the right adjustments to take his career to the next level, a great product to be a part of. And what this reminds me of, I feel like, all right, slam dunk, All-Star Weekend, all that's done and over with. Now it's playoff push time. If you've ever played basketball and you're either down or a play doesn't go right or you lost the first game, is about to be the next one, and then you got 5 people waiting, so now if you lose you gotta wait some more. It kind of feels like you start tucking your shirt in. You wipe the dirt from your shoes, you tie your laces a little tighter. I feel like that's what we're getting from Aaron Gordon. I think now is he's not forcing anything, he's not rushing anything, he's making the right moves, the right plays, he's being patient, his timing is a lot better. His pace, he's pushing, he's doing all the right things. And I think that in order for us to be able to make any difference, it has to be him. He has to be the one that leads it. Evan Fournier needs to keep doing what he's doing. Vooch, same thing. Terrence Ross needs to keep shooting the way he's shooting, but Aaron Gordon just has to be that person that kind of does everything.
One of the things, if you watch him the last 3 games and you kind of focus on him, while he's playing on the court, you realize that he still has those tendencies to like be selfish, over dribble, and all of those things. But there's like a flash where you could see he thinks about it, and he's like, no, I'm going to make a different choice. So I think he's actively working to better that aspect of his game, and I think that's awesome to see.
There was a play that he did where he was driving to the lane, and it was a lot of combustion because it wasn't going to end well. He had like 2-3 people caving on him while he was driving, and then he kicked it right back over to James Ennis, and he went in there and just slammed it down. And it's what you want to see from Aaron Gordon. And
he's so strong that when he goes to the basket, he's going to command a double team. And I think that's what it leads to. If he's just now making that adjustment from forcing the layup or the dunk to just looking for that teammate that's open from the double team, it's an open 3-pointer, it's an open layup. He's, again, like you said, Justin, it's like shaking his head like, okay, wait, time out. I'm not doing the right thing here. And he's passing the ball. But again, that's an X factor for us. There's some crazy stats on Twitter this week that I saw when he scores 25 or more, when he scores 20 or more. We are like something crazy, like 12-2 or something like that. So it's key. He is that X factor for us. Even without Isaac. I mean, with Isaac's back, even better. But he's that guy that if Vooch is doing what he's doing, Fournier's doing what he's doing, Ross as well, and he can contribute to that, we are a much better team.
Aaron Gordon is a player that you have to respect. I believe just from social media presence, maybe Markelle Fultz is just a little more popular. Nikola Vucevic was an all-star, but when you talk about Aaron Gordon, you have to respect him. If he's driving to the lane, you gotta step up. He commands when he's driving, commands a double team.
Right.
You have to make that decision. If he's coming down the lane, you either gotta get out of the way or you have to attempt because he's gonna take it in.
I want to see a Zion AG matchup.
It's coming soon.
But also, but I don't know. I just this team against Minnesota scored 136 points.
That's crazy.
They dropped 130 on the Hawks. 115 on the Nets.
It's beautiful to see if you think about it. I mean, this is a team that struggled for the longest time to score 100 points.
I think when we talked about earlier this month or last month about us having this easy schedule to close out the season, That's what's so important. It's because now these teams don't play defense that well. And I don't know why, though. Like, open three-pointers should go down against a good team or a bad team. But for some reason, against bad teams, we do really, really well. That's what's exciting about March. 12 out of 15 games again against teams under 500. So if the offense can keep on clicking, the defense will be good enough for us to win games.
Now, Connor Fuellner on Instagram, Orlando Magic HQ, he said, we aren't making it out of the first round. Come on. We most likely take the 8th seed and get killed by the Bucks. Watch the rest of the NBA and you realize that we're nowhere close to competing in the playoffs. Magic are obviously on the hot streak right now. Obviously, nobody wants to see the Bucks in the first round. But let's say that, because I don't see us being the 8th seed. Milwaukee obviously won't fall out of that. I honestly see us in the 7th to face either Toronto or Boston. But do you think that it would be similar to last season where it's maybe a one-game shutout, that's it, go home? Or do you honestly see the Magic, if they're able to sustain this level of play, to be able to do some damage in the playoffs?
If they sustain this level of play, I mean, anything is possible, right? I think this is, like I said earlier, this is a season where every team is one injury away from no longer contending for a championship. So, like I said, I think anything is possible. It also depends on the matchup. You know, if we play the Bucks, I don't like our chances
at all.
But again, you never know, because the times we've played the Bucks, we've played with a subpar AG. He hasn't been playing
That's true.
the way he's playing now, and we've made it close against the Bucks a couple times actually. So I don't know. It's one of those things that you don't know what you got till you got it. But it's exciting to get ready for.
I think we're getting greedy. You know, when we started the year, even last year, our goal was to win as many games as possible, make the playoffs. That was what we wanted to do as Magic fans. And all of a sudden, I get it. We want to do more, and that's the normal thing of life, right? You got something
Spoiled.
Yeah, we get spoiled. I actually tweeted that this morning. I'm like, hey, we won 25 games the year before Coach Clifford came to Orlando. We won 42 last year, and we can easily win 40 again this year. You know, like, we complain a lot about Clifford, but again, the results are there. Even on an unhealthy year, we're still going to win about 40 games this year. In the playoffs, we understand. We are the Magic. We don't have that star power just yet. AG's getting there. Hopefully, he can keep it up. We don't have the ability to compete against a Milwaukee, against Boston just yet. We know that. That's why internal development is so important. Isaac take the next leap. Bamba, Fultz. That will lead to us becoming a better team down the road. We're not there yet. And I'm okay with us losing, 4-2, even 4-1 in a competitive series. That's the reality of our team. And that's what we are. Now, if we face the Raptors and they don't have Gasol, they don't have Siakam because of injuries, that changes everything. Now, all of a sudden, we have a chance. We should win that series. But the reality is, we are a first-round team at this moment.
I think the fans that are literally saying, "Oh, well, we're not going to make it past the first round," or "Oh, we're not going to do this. Why are we wasting our time? We should just be tanking." I think those are the fans that just started watching the Magic again because we've been winning. If you've been a fan since before Dwight Howard and post Dwight Howard, we've missed the NBA playoffs how many times? You're not saying that. You're not saying any of that. Last season there was so much hype around the Magic because we made the playoffs, and then all of a sudden we're complaining because we might get eliminated in the first round.
Spoiled.
And the idea of, if you don't have a superstar, it's not worth to compete. That to me is a backward ideology.
Exactly.
Like, how do you don't become an NBA player by deciding in your mind, I'm not going to compete. Yeah. I'm just going to let it go. We're going to lose anyway.
And I'm not saying by any means that we have we have a Kobe Bryant on our team or that we have the next Kobe, but when Kobe made the playoffs his first 2 years, did they win a ring right away? No, you need experience. You need to get out there. And for fans that are listening to this, go to a game in the playoffs and understand the difference. Go to a game now in March. Go to a game in March and go to a game in April when the playoffs are around. It's totally different. And that, as a fan, I want to go back to a game, even if we're going to lose against the Bucks, whoever it is. Take me to game 3, game 4 at Amway.
It was so fun, man.
I'll be leaving the game without a voice. We'll be doing some watch parties in downtown. That's what it's all about.
I'll be there with you.
So, again, are we going to win? Who knows? But just give me that experience.
People were saying that, this team is done when Jonathan Isaac got hurt. Like, what are we going to do? Look at us. How many teams still survive? And it's arguable to say whether or not Jonathan Isaac is or isn't our best player. But how many teams survive one of their best players being injured the rest of the season?
Not only that, but Aminu, Vooch a long time, Augustine a long time, MCW a long time.
AG,
Terrence Ross.
I mean, again, back to what I said earlier. We criticize Clifford a lot. Clifford gets a lot of criticism from us, but you cannot deny the fact that the team plays hard and something magical happens. Because again, we win games at the end of the day. It's not always pretty, but we win the games.
You know, it's funny because you were just talking about like the injuries and stuff. One of the healthiest guys throughout his time in Orlando has been Evan Fournier.
Yeah.
He's not one of those guys that's been injured for a prolonged amount of time. No. And I know and it's like, why are you bringing up Fournier? But
Always finds a reason.
no. It's really interesting. Like when you said that, it made me think of, wow, Evan is one of the only guys that hasn't had extended injury history while on this team.
That's true. Throughout his career in Orlando, that's true.
Whatever you say. All right, so let's move into the week ahead. So we have a really good test upon us. Saturday we play against San Antonio. Monday against Portland. Wednesday at Miami. And then we play Minnesota again on that Friday. I think this is where we're really going to find out what this team is made of. We haven't decided what the game of the week is. I honestly think it should be Miami.
It has to be. I mean, it's Miami.
It's our in-state rivals.
No, yeah, that's true.
They're a playoff contender in the East, and we've gotten waxed.
And Myers Leonard was talking shit. So
And Jones.
And I am hoping that Aaron Gordon just slams the shit out of Derrick Jones.
Which he did before. With a picture going
Like,
around.
I'm hoping that it's. I don't care if it's an elbow to the chest.
Derrick
something.
Jones doesn't play too many minutes though, so we might not even see him.
He plays off the bench, so ideally you get Gordon and him matched up at some point. Just like you said, hard foul, something would be nice to see something fun happen in that game.
So we going with a winner or a loss
Against Miami?
Miami.
I actually think Orlando goes undefeated the whole week.
Ooh.
Oh, that's hot.
So I can see San Antonio because they don't have Aldridge playing tonight. I can see Portland because Lillard's not playing that game, and Minnesota's Minnesota. But Miami's the only game of the week that I'm like, I'm gonna say we go 3-1 this week, and I would say the loss comes against Miami, unfortunately.
I'm going with a win against Miami in Miami.
My guy.
I think AG is gonna go off just to stick it to Dwayne Wade.
I hope so.
And my prediction, we're gonna beat him by 9. So in case you are watching the Brooklyn Nets and just kind of tracking how they're doing, this week they're following they're playing against Miami on Saturday, Boston on Tuesday, Memphis Wednesday, and then San Antonio on Friday. So they have a pretty tough schedule up ahead as well. So we might be able, if we can really take advantage of these next 4 games, we can kind of create some space between us and Brooklyn.
We definitely can. It's starting tonight. We actually have half a game lead. We play San Antonio. They play the Heat. So
Okay.
I'm not a Heat fan by any means. You guys know that, but I'm rooting for the Heat tonight, and I'm rooting for us, of course, beat San Antonio tonight. So it will be nice to start that new month having a 1.5 game
I don't think
lead.
you're ever allowed to say I'm rooting for the Heat in a sentence.
Tonight I am.
But
Anytime after March, unfortunately, I start rooting for these random teams I'm not a fan of, but I just want to see us to our benefit.
yeah.
Final thoughts?
Yeah. So my final thoughts are actually not about the Magic. It's about an ex-Magic player. He played here for a season. It was Ben Gordon. He had an article on the Players Tribune. It's called "Where Is My Mind?" Where he was talking about his battle with anxiety, depression, panic attacks. Really intense article, really insightful. And I think a lot of people probably have read. And if you haven't, you should. It'll make you feel, like you're not that alone sometimes when you struggle and things like that. It was something that I enjoyed. And I think that Ben Gordon did, a really good job in opening up and allowing people to see that side of him. So I recommend it. Where Is My Mind by Ben Gordon on the Players Tribune.
Nice. I haven't seen it, so I'll be checking it out.
I think in that article he had mentioned that he hated Coach K. It wasn't in the article. It was tied to Ben Gordon. He said it this past week that he hated Coach K.
Interesting.
That's interesting. That part wasn't there, but like I said, I still recommend giving it a read.
Good. For me this week, I just want to see Markel go back to being Markel. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like it's not been playing to what we're used to the past few months. Even his shot. I texted to you guys last night, watching him live last night. He had a couple of 3-pointers that just looked completely off. I saw him kind of grimacing a little bit. I'm not sure if he's in pain or what it was. But I want to see him go back to being the Markello was attacking the rim. I mean, he had solid numbers last night. He had a good game. But again, it felt like it was a forced padding of stats. It wasn't really a natural fluid game from him. I want to see him just kind of go out there, run the floor, attack the basket, and shoot the open threes and make them. It's been a while that he hasn't made a three-pointer. It's been a couple of games that he hasn't made one. So I just want to see Markel be Markel.
Nobody respects the Magic. It's just one of those things that it's been like that from the very beginning. Tough games ahead. Leave your stamp, make an impact, and start scaring these first, second, third, fourth seed teams and make them feel like maybe we don't want to play the Magic in the first round.
That's right. That'd be fun to see.
All right. Good stuff. Big game tonight. That's a wrap for us. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace. Thank you for listening to the OZone Podcast, the voice of Magic fans.
Be sure to visit our website, theozonepod.com. And remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on all your favorite podcast listening platforms.